Pure Access Cloud and Engage. When these two technologies are combined, the reader controllers deliver near real-time access control to your high-traffic, high-priority doors, as they always have, while Schlage Wi-Fi locks fill in the gaps on doors less traveled, using their batteries once a day to connect to Pure Access and download updates. A need-it-now solution for doors that need it, and an energy-efficient 2.4 GHz solution for doors that can work on an update schedule. Joining the Isonas family of reader controllers and IP bridges are the LEB for doors with mortise locks, the NDEB for doors with cylindrical locks, and a new reader controller, the Schlage RC. It's up to you where and when to use them, so in this video, we're going to go through what to expect when you're ready to put them together in Pure Access to link a tenant to Engage. We'll cover how to link your tenant to Engage, create your Engage account and get the app, how to configure locks with the app, and how to migrate credentials in your tenant so they work with these new products. First, linking a tenant to Engage. We're going to jump straight into the action and assume you've already obtained the format, ID number, and facility code information for the credentials in that tenant. This information is required for any card that will be used with these new products. If you don't know this information, you can look on a credential order receipt, or look for a label on the box they came in, or contact your dealer or customer care. We'll also assume you know the SSID, or the name, the security type, and the password for the Wi-Fi network to which you will be connecting the Wi-Fi locks. Lastly, we'll assume that you've determined who will be responsible for configuring these locks, and that they have an iOS or Android device so they can get the Engage app and configure them. We're going to assume you've already taken care of these things. It can be easy to get caught up in all of the excitement to overlook these details, but it would be a fateful mistake to not have taken care of these things beforehand. If I could gently nudge you with my elbow right now, I would. So here we are, logged into Pure Access. First, we're going to make sure that the correct tenant is selected, because we wouldn't want to accidentally link the wrong tenant to Engage. Once we've confirmed it's the tenant we want, we'll go to Settings, and then to the Engage tab. There's just one button here, on this whole screen. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. Click the Link Tenant button. If you have any holidays in this tenant, you'll be prompted to delete them before continuing. This tenant is now linked to Engage. Next, creating the Engage account and getting the app. The screen says that we've received an invitation to join Engage. We'll check our email and look for one. Open it up, click the link to accept, and now we're at the Engage portal. Since we haven't created an account yet, we will do that now. Complete the form and submit. The Engage portal says to check your email to activate the account, so we'll go back to our email, and here it is. Click the link to activate, then use the credentials you just created to log in to Engage. One quick note before we go to the next step. Because this is the first time, you had to do a little extra work here. You had to make an Engage account because you didn't have one. But now that you do, linking additional tenants is just a matter of clicking the Link Tenant button, accepting the invitation, and logging in. More on that in just a moment. Now we'll get the Engage app. Wait, not yet, still on 2. The app is used for configuring the NDEB and LEB locks in the Schlage RC. You can think of it like the configuration tool that you use for RC04s. The Engage app is sort of a mobile configuration tool. The app is available for iOS and Android, so we'll go to the App Store on this iPhone, search for Engage, and download it. Once it's installed, we'll log in, and if you look at the Sites tab, you can see our first linked Pure Access tenant right here. So again, we have one linked tenant here, and when we want to link another tenant, we'd click Link Tenant, accept the invite, and log in with the same Engage credentials. Then, when you go to the Sites tab in the app, you'll see another linked tenant in this list, and you can switch from one tenant to another here in the Sites tab, just like you do in Pure Access. Next, configuring Wi-Fi locks in the Schlage RC for Pure Access. We'll do an NDEB lock. With the lock powered on, open the Engage app, go to Sites, select the tenant, and tap the plus sign on the Devices tab. Select your device type, in this case NDE. When prompted, turn the inside lever of your lock and tap Next, which should cause it to appear in this list. When it does, tap it. Give it a name, meaning the name you want to appear in the access point screen in Pure Access. Then enter the Wi-Fi network information, name, security type, and password. Tap Next, wait, and when it's done, tap Finish. Now if we set the Engage app down and go to Pure Access, on the Access Points tab, under the speed dial, there's a command to sync Engage devices. We'll click that, and there's our NDEB Wi-Fi lock. But what if you want other people to configure locks for this tenant? When you want to have another user, whether it's a colleague, employee, or the tenant themselves, anyone, use the Engage app to configure devices, you start with a user in Pure Access. Make them a web user if they're not already, and then go to the Engage tab in Settings. Web users will appear here, and for those you want to invite, click the envelope icon to send them an email. They'll receive an invitation just as you once did, and when they click on it, they'll create and activate an account, get the Engage app, log in, and they're done. Lastly, migrating credentials to work with Engage products. When you're ready to assign existing users to an NDEB, LEB, or Schlage RC, select the users, either one or many, and click Migrate Credentials. Then, for each credential, choose the card format, in this case 26A, then click Migrate. Now here's the tricky part. If it's successful, then you're done. If it's not successful, as will be the case with our user Elaine Snyder, you'll see this message at the bottom of the screen saying that the credential needs to be declined at the reader in order to be migrated. It sounds a little weird that you'd need to do this, but the information that comes along with a declined event is exactly the information Pure Access needs to help migrate that credential, along with you selecting the format. So remove the user from the device, or change their schedule, or go into lockdown, whatever will result in a denied log in the history. Once you've done that, try migrating again. There is another method, an alternative method, that I probably shouldn't tell you about, but you can do it if you need to. Your existing credential will work on an RCO4, but not on an NDEB, LEB, or Schlage RC. However, you can add the same credential again, meaning select badge, then set the format, ID, and facility code. The user now has one physical credential represented twice in Pure Access, one for RCO4 and IP bridge devices, and one for Engage devices. It will work, but it's a little more preferred to migrate the credential instead. So we've covered a lot. Linking a tenant to Engage, creating the Engage account, configuring locks with the Schlage app, adding users to help configure Engage devices, and migrating the tenant's credential information. One more thing, back on that credential migration topic. Even if you know the credential information for a tenant, it may still be a good idea to test and make sure that they work on both RCO4s and Wi-Fi locks after you've linked to Engage. You can create a test user or use your own credential if you're on that tenant and test your migration. It can be good to confirm this before migrating any actual users. Okay, now we're done. For more information or support, visit www.isonas.com, us.allegion.com, or call customer care at 671 7011.